There was a small settlement not far from the city of Baghdad, where an old man was spending his last days of life. He was a quiet and humble man. He had 5 sons. Among them was the eldest, Yusuf, who was a farmer. Yusuf worked all day in the fields. He plowed the land and took care of the crops. But while serving his father, sometimes he would get upset and he would think in his heart when this responsibility would end. In the evening, Yusuf would return from the fields. His old father, Hakim, would silently feel his son's pain. Hakim had a deep love for his son. But without saying anything, he would just look down. After a while, Hakim began to feel a change in his son Yusuf. He knew that Yusuf was burdened with his responsibilities, and perhaps he began to feel that his old father had become a burden for him. Yusuf's angry attitude began to worry his father. He wanted to spend the last days of his life in peace, but Yusuf's indifference made him sad. After a while, Hakim called Yusuf closer and said, "Son, I know that you are burdened. Do not worry. I will not stay with you for long. I will go to my other son in a couple of days. You focus on your work and your life. Do not worry about me." After hearing this, Yusuf remained silent for a while. There was a slight wave of indifference in his heart, but there were no harsh or stopping words on his lips. After a few days, the old Hakim left Yusuf's house and went to his other son, Farouk, who was a successful trader. And he did not lack wealth. The old father began to stay at Farouk's house. But Farouk's attitude was also regrettable. For Farouk, business was more important, whereas his wife always ignored her father-in-law and did not even bother to talk to him. The old Hakim remained silent for the whole day. He took the sorrow of his son's changing love in his heart, but he never expressed his pain verbally. The old Hakim's time was passing with sorrow. One day, Farouk came to his wife's words and said to his father, "Baba, you should help me in my business so that I can also benefit from your presence." Hearing this, the old Hakim remained silent. His bent back, weak hands, and tired body were witnessing that he was no longer capable of any hard work. But he did not mind what his son said, because he knew that Farouk was only looking at him out of responsibility, not out of love. The whole night, the old father's cough and his wife, Farouk, were fed up of the pain. "This old man is troubling us even more. He has more children. He can go there and live." Farouk was also a weak man. He said to his old father, "Baba, if you are tired, it is okay. If you want, you can go to another son. You will live there in peace. I will also pay for your treatment. Do not worry." These words hurt the Hakim's self-respect even more. Instead of love and attention, Farouk spoke only of a reasonable solution. As if the old father did not care about his presence, he was only a burden of responsibility that he had to bear. The old Hakim left Farouk's house and went to the third son, Usman. Usman was a hard-working farmer and worked on his land. He respected his father, but he also did not have much time. He would be busy in the fields all day, and in the evening he would come home and spend time with his wife and children. He never paid attention to the old father's illness and the deep sadness of his heart. When Usman would go to work in the morning, his wife would always ask her children to sit with their father-in-law and play with them. The old Hakim, who was trembling with illness and weakness, would be very sad to see this scene. Father's condition worsened in Usman's house, and finally he left there as well. This time he decided to go to his younger son, Ahmed. Ahmed was a cheater and greedy man. He was very happy to welcome his father. Ahmed's happiness was only because of his greed, not because of his love for his father. Ahmed respected his father and said, "Baba, you will not have any trouble living here." As time passed, Ahmed realized that the old father did not have any wealth, and so he left Farouk's house. Ahmed's wife considered his father-in-law to be a burden and did not serve him. Instead, she gave him a lot of trouble. She would always complain and consider the old man to be a hindrance in her work. But what was the wife's fault when her son was angry? Ahmed was so involved in his business that he did not pay attention to his father's condition. During this time, the old man's health and physical condition began to deteriorate rapidly. Finally, one day Ahmed also replied and said, "Baba, you cannot live here. I do not have so much time to see you all the time. You will have to go somewhere else." The old man was heartbroken and decided to go to his youngest son, Abdullah. Abdullah was the youngest son of the doctor, who was a poor and hard-working man. He would buy medicines for his father with the money he earned by working as a day laborer and would try to run the household expenses. His wife was also very honest and took care of her father-in-law from the bottom of her heart. She understood his illness and old age and always served him like a mother and a father. When Abdullah and his wife's love and respect for him increased, the heart became happy and began to pray a lot. Time passed, and the doctor began to live a happy life in his youngest son's house. He regained peace and love in his life, and he was thankful that he finally got the respect that he always deserved. Finally, the last days of the doctor's life began, and he became very ill. Seeing his father's condition, Abdullah was very sad and often cried because he did not see his father as a burden, but as a true father. He had a sea of respect and love for his father, and he would try his best to serve his father. The last days of Abdullah's tears and the last days of his worried father's life became a source of comfort and peace for him. Seeing Abdullah's love, the doctor called him close to him and said in a soft voice, "Son, my last days are near. My breaths are now countless, but may Allah always keep you happy and prosperous, just as you served me and won my heart."